Hey, Sean Devlin, the Mortgage Truth Man, coming at you this week with the 1003 week. We're going deep. Every day I've been going over through section by section the full 1003. And I'm comparing and contrasting the two 1003s, the new one versus the old one. And we're giving you guys a heads up on the stuff you need to know right up front. This thing goes into effect in July. If you don't know your craft and you don't know the 1003, which is the heart of a transaction, you're going to have a hard time closing loans. So, it's imperative that you prepare yourself. You know what you're up against. You know what new questions to ask, as well as how the flow goes. So that's what we've been going over section by section this week to prepare ULOs to know about the changes. That's what it's all about. So today we are officially on page 6. So we're on page 6, section 5. Here we go. Section 5 is the declaration question. I got some good ones on this. I compare and contrasted. I can tell you this is pretty much all brand new. So, it went from 10 questions on the existing 1003 to now being 16 questions. And there's 3 questions that are on the current declaration section that aren't even asked in the new one. So, there's over 6 brand new questions that you now need to be asking in the declaration section of a 1003. I will tell you a couple things on the old GFE, or old 1003, excuse me. F is now H. G is not even asked. J is not asked. K is not asked. L is now the first question in the declaration section, which is, will you occupy this as your primary residence? You see, what they did was they broke it up, these debt questions, into 2 sections. One, about the property and your money for this loan. 2, about your finances. So there's 2 separate sections, a 5A and a 5B. So, M on the old 1003 becomes part of A, which is the first question. The new M, technically, is a brand new question and is the last question in the debt question, and it's all about BKs. And it has check boxes, so it says, what BK did you have? If you had one in the last 7 years, 7, 13, 12, or 11. So it breaks it down. All right. H is now C, which is in the first section. And ultimately, it seems to flow just like the rest of them fairly nicely. It does. Yes or no questions are there. It's really self-explanatory. Bottom left-hand side, be consistent with the rest of the 1003, is the borrower's name. Same place as every page, having the borrower's name at the bottom of that page, which is great. All right. I'll break it down on the blog for you. I have screenshots of each section. Check it out. Wait, section 6. Now, this is somewhat new. It's kind of given that some of these acknowledgments and agreements, disclaimers are within the legal language of understanding that this is a legally binding thing for a home loan. It's got to be complete. There's 6 basic points, bullet points, that they have the borrower acknowledge and agree upon. So, the completeness of the info, the property security, meaning the security of the bond, the property's appraisal and the condition, obviously that it was obtained and The lender or other loan participants have not made any representation or warranty to express or implied about the condition or its value. So, property, electronic records and signatures talks about how this section where the electronic signatures can be used, can be wet signed as well. Section 5 in this acknowledgement is delinquencies. So it talks about how with a mortgage loan, delinquencies are reported, kind of self-explanatory. And then the use of sharing of information. So they have to sign and date the bottom of this page. Now, what I think is unique is there's actually 2 borrower signature lines. So, does the borrower need to sign it in both spots? Or is it for a main borrower and a co-borrower to actually sign on the borrower's 1003? I'm going to research that, and I'm going to have an answer for you tomorrow. All right. 7, demographic information. Looks identical to the old, 1003, the current 1003 that we have. I mean, it's identical, It's where they, pick their ethnicity, sex, race. They're very self-explanatory. All right. Last and final, section 8 is the loan information. Loan officer or loan originator information section. The only thing, comparing, contrasting the two, that change and consists of all the same information, just changes. The loan originator company is now first, and then the LO. Whereas on the current 1003, the LO is listed, and then right underneath it, the originator company. So, they flipped that up a little bit. It's been a really good week going over this. I'm going to wrap it up tomorrow with more of a synopsis, what I think is the whole of this thing, point out some things that I may have pointed out throughout the week, but that stick out that you're going to need to know. Other than that, it's time to go write some loans. Have yourself a wonderful day. As I always say, share, interact, like, repeat. Know the 1003, know the changes. You have to know your craft, ladies and gentlemen. This is the heart of loans. It's brand new, and you need to know it. Have yourself a great day. So well.